Well, here I am on February 1st, 2026. Oh boy. And I am at Woodley Island, right across the bay from Eureka, California, and I'm sitting on a boat called the Blue Dolphin. And I'm here with Dave, and I got a couple questions. For maritime purposes, is it called a boat or a ship?
I don't think it matters. Didn't make any money for the last 3 months, so technically it's a yacht.
Yeah, and other than owning a yacht like this, what does it require to become an operator of this kind of thing?
Money. I mean, that's pretty much it. I did the captain's course, but that's for taking paying customers out. To be a commercial fisherman, all you need is a boat. Yeah, the captain's course is, so like there's levels. You can get a 6-pack charter license, so that way you can take 6 people out on a charter fishing boat. And then the next level that I got was sailing, so I can take people on sailing tours, and then tow. So you can tow and do tugboats, and then you do the 100-ton, 100-ton master, and then 200-ton mate, and that makes it so you can take out like ferries and stuff like that.
What model of boat is this, and what kind of boat?
It was built in Port Townsend, Washington in 1979. It's a 53-foot skookum, and skookum is an old Salish word for like tough or burly.
So are they all hand built, or how are they manufactured?
I mean, there's not a machine or a robot that can make them. There's a form, and then they blast the fiberglass, and then all the woodwork is, I think the guy's name is Ed Monk, that designed the classic triangle tables and the woodwork on the interior. But they're all custom. There's only one that looks like this, with the low profile and the short ceiling and the windows that come back like that.
What do you think of this ship? Is it like your dream ship? Is it something?
Pretty much.
When you saw this ship, did you want one more that was more functional, like one of these crabbers?
No.
Was it just what was available at the time, or did you seek out this ship?
No, I wanted sails or 2 engines, 2 main engines. I've got 1 main engine. It's super simple to learn and work on. It's a Detroit 471. They designed it for war. So an 18-year-old kid going to war in World War II, they could fix it in a tank or a ship in a rough sea. And so it's really simple to learn how to fix everything on it. But I wanted sails because I want to go travel the world. And so if I lose my engine, if something goes down, if I don't have the part, under your seat and under my seat, I've got all sorts of spare parts to rebuild the engine. But if I don't have something, or I don't know how to do it, let's put the sails up and then go to the nearest country.
Do you know how to sail? Do you know how to do all those knots that a sailor knows? Do you know how to...
I've been learning.
Tell me about... that's a trade of its own, right?
There was a guy that had a sailboat for sale for $1,500 on Craigslist when I was in college. And he had to move, and he kept dropping the price, and I went and checked it out and sailed it with him. But it didn't have a trailer, so he couldn't take it to the boat shows. And he was having a really hard time selling it. And so at one point I said, let's give you $500, meet me at the co-op. And I'll get $500 out, and then we practiced on that. We had no motor for the first year, and so we just sailed around the Puget Sound, and we would leave with no anchor and a mooring ball tied up, and that way with no motor we had to become better sailors, because we had to actually clip right next to it like a crabber would, like right next to it, and hook it and tie up and drop the sails real fast.
Earlier,
those hanging.
These girdies?
Yeah,
They're
nice.
these blocks. They call them blocks because they used to all be made out of wood. They were big wood blocks with a wheel inside. But now they're plastic. But they still call them blocks because they were blocks of wood. And we run our wires from the salmon cables up through those. And these fold out. And the big arms fold out. And then you can set 3 cables and put 10 salmon hooks on each one. Up here, you would only put 4 on each in Oregon. Nowadays, because of the laws, we have to get our California salmon with their chips in their noses. We catch them up in Oregon. So it's a 4-day sail to go up there to go get California fish that came from here.
How difficult is it for you to navigate these docks? But I'm from Long Beach, and I've watched many people in their recreational vehicles lose control of their small boats because actually it looks kind of easy, but it's very difficult to navigate these things at slow speeds, and you're fighting that sort of thing.
Well, you can't steer the boat in reverse. I've got the rudder is about 5 feet tall. But you really can't steer in reverse. I forget the term for it, but the way the prop spins, it'll actually pull your boat that direction because the water's more dense 3 feet down than it is up. It's heavier, and so it actually grabs on that. And so the boat always kind of wants to go that way, like kind of slowly diagonally when you're in reverse. And so you have... What you do
There's like a drag to it or something.
Yeah.
Or some...
I forget the term for it. There's a term for it. What you do, though, is you keep the engine really revved up, and you hit forward, and you get your turn going. And then once the boat's kind of swinging, then once you're backing up, it'll keep swinging. So if I were going to leave here right now, I think the tide is pretty still right now, so it'd be pretty simple. But if the tide was coming in, or if the tide was doing anything, I would actually go in forward first, and I would punch it really hard and get the boat turning. And once you got the swing going, then you can back up, and that's how you get your turn. But you only get your turns in forward with that prop blowing against the keel.
Right. How you doing?
All right, yourself?
Doing good. Did you go out or?
Oh, we went out yesterday. We were just getting everything ready to go out today. Just walking around the docks trying to figure out who's doing what. Tide's gonna be kind of iffy tomorrow, so everyone's either taking off tonight or first thing in the morning, so nobody really knows.
A couple years ago, this is Wesley, and a couple years ago, he had to jump off a boat that the engine exploded out of the engine room, and there was a bunch of diesel fumes that were actually fumey. Diesel doesn't usually light with a cigarette, but it was like blowing out like fumey. And they had a major fire, jumped off. He has a bunch of burns on his arms. He grabbed his captain and then jumped in the water and pulled him up on his chest and floated until a sport boat picked him up.
No, it wasn't quite like that. What ended up happening. I wish I could be that heroic, but
Well, just let him build the story. You'll become a hero by the year's end.
And like I was carrying him at one point because the man was slipping off the tote he was hanging on to, and so I had to only grab him up for like 5 seconds. But I didn't realize all of his clothes were incinerated on his fucking body too. And I'm touching bare, like burnt flesh, and it was so distressful, and I was so distraught. I didn't even notice that. I mean, I had him in my arm for a second, but I would just throw him right back on the tote. I was just trying to save myself. You know, you can't save others without saving yourself. Oh man.
You Did you guys get what you needed when you went on strike?
No, we never do though. When we went on strike, the price was $4.35, and we got it up to $4.75. So that's pretty good.
Is that per pound?
Per pound, yeah.
So that's what you sell at wholesale.
Yeah, if I were to sell it off the dock, each cow would probably be like close to $8 to $10.
Yeah, and then Murphy's is selling it at like $20, right?
Mm-hmm. But that's also because they're cooking it and processing it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Don't go to Safeway though, or Costco.
Yeah.
Last time I went to Costco, it was like $30.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's just a...
Yeah.
It's like a joke.
I feel safer being 10 miles from shore. I don't like to sleep 3 miles from shore.
I'd have to say like 30 miles, 40 miles, I'll feel safe. I've drifted 10 miles before.
Yeah, 10 miles is kind of my limit.
Yeah, no.
You know, in tuna season, you're out 150 miles and you just drift.
Exactly, yeah. No, that's no issue whatsoever. Yeah, I'm going to sleep. Like, you know what? I'll let the collision alert. No.
Yeah, it's in salmon season, you know, you got to check your radar every 2 hours. You got to stick your head out and look around because you've got all these boats in the Derby for the whole week on, week off thing. But tuna season, sometimes I don't see another mammal for 10 days.
See the frame? That's what we're recording. Oh, cool.
There we go. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
All
this
right.
is Wesley Churchill.
Okay, so what kind of health insurance you guys got?
Oh.
So you guys got all these injuries. This is your career. Are the maritime workers getting a great health insurance?
I had
Tell me about that.
I had a bad season and couldn't pay for Kaiser, and so I went and gotten on Medi-Cal.
Yeah. No, that's exactly it. Kaiser Permanente is probably one of the better ones for fishermen for sure because they'll actually they'll cover a serious injury. Otherwise, Medi-Cal is a pretty good option, but I mean, you're a fisherman. Medi-Cal is for people who are underprivileged. So I mean, you know.
Well, do you?
In my work contract, there is a line in there that says that you provide your own insurance.
Yeah. So I pay into Kaiser as well.
So do you guys pay into state disability? So if you get injured on the job, can you go on disability?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's something that you're able to do is claim workers' comp still and do all those things as long as you keep up on your pink slips for your workers. If you're a captain, you'd sign this pink slip, which is a temporary unemployment thing, and you can literally, like, if you're not fishing for a month or something, you can just collect unemployment. So that way.
You want to become a crabber / fisherman. Are they getting paid by the hour, by the day, in a block period?
Percentage.
What's that? Are you getting paid? You're getting paid a percentage of the take.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's say we catch.
So there's no guarantee whether or not you're going to get. Is there a guarantee that you're going to get a good take?
Oh no, absolutely not. It's called fishing, not catching.
On a small boat like this, we start in at
Partners.
10% is typical, and then you work your way up 15%. Once you're doing engine work and having more control of the boat, then 20%. That's kind of where it tops out, though, because you got to figure, I'm not even going to try and speculate, but X% goes into your fuel and food and everything else, and I don't deduct, and so
that's nice,
I kind of have to top out at 20%. That's all I can share. I've done 30% with salmon fishermen because they were really good.
Do you ever dream at night about being at sea or on a boat?
I've got a bunch of injuries, and I've always had a hard time sleeping. And so I actually downloaded white noise of my exact engine, a Detroit 471, at 800 to 1,000 RPMs, and then scanned through them until I found one that sounded just like mine, because that's the feeling of safety. That's the sound of safety. That's the sound of your engines working perfectly, so you can go back to bed after you check the radars, and you're going to make it home. When it's a new moon and it's foggy, you can't see 10 feet off the side of the boat.
Mm-mm.
And so it feels like you're in outer space, right?
Yeah, no, that's
And when you go out there, you're like, oh, I'm just going to go to the bathroom outside. Then you look around, you're like, dude, if I slip or there's a rogue wave, no one's going to find me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in outer space. Yeah, it's kind of wild like that. had this nightmare the other night where this sea lion, I don't call it a nightmare, I wasn't like really scared, but I was pissed off. This sea lion got on the dock, and I went and ran at him, and I was going to push him off the dock, but I had my little dog with me, and so I got scared, and then I woke up, and I got up and went to use the bathroom, and for a minute I was like, wait a minute, did that really happen yesterday? Was that a dream? Like, it all starts to kind of blend together because you get so little sleep. Like if you're a captain on a tuna boat, you have to every hour I have to check my temps on my freezer, and then defrost sometimes every other hour for half an hour. So you get like an hour and a half of nap time at best. That's the most sleep you ever get. And it's like that for 2 weeks. Yeah, Captain and I have a tradition that we like to leave land. We don't have any girlfriend issues. We don't have any probation issues. Don't have to worry about anything. So when we pass the approach buoy, Captain and I have this tradition. We get out on the deck, he stands up on the roof, and I yell, "We're home, Captain, we're home!"
Follows mine.
Well, when you go out, does that, like, are you aware if it's going to be a full moon or a new moon?
Oh yeah, that's
Always.
That's easy.
Yeah, we all write that in our calendars. The moon chart's always in our calendars.
With the tide tables usually, because the moon does dictate the tide, so it's pretty easy, to be able to guess and figure it out. Like, I know astronomy pretty well. I've already memorized the stars. It's not a mandatory thing that everybody does, but if those instruments go dark, if your lights go dark, it's like being out in space, and that's when the reality and the responsibility, like I said, sets in.
Except for fewer people die out in space.
People, being on a boat, you're forced to be watch out for each other. You're like tied to each other, which is a very rare situation.
Yeah.
And that's got to be kind of addictive when you come to land and everybody's kind of uncommitting, flaky.
Shallow as a shower.
But then you get on a boat and everybody takes life seriously. I would gamble. Or do they take it seriously? Everyone,
Most people do.
Do people take life seriously on a boat?
I take it seriously because I've got other people's lives in my hands, and if I screw up, one of us might die. That's serious. Yeah, that brings your brotherhood really close. It kind of makes it weird for some of us, like, sailors get in fights. We're kind of known for getting in fights and stuff like that and causing trouble at shore. I think it's because we miss that seriousness of, like, man versus nature, and dock life is actually more stressful.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Are the people that are working, like right now there's a big crabbing rush, are the people that are working on the crabbing boats right now, are they just seasonal workers, or are they ongoing, have a relationship with all these captain workers?
Actually, good deckhands is the term that I would say. So a good deckhand may fall out with another captain, but he'll still go to another boat and do another fishery, okay? But then there's certain captains who won't do that, who actually do hire seasonal. And this boat right behind us, the Captain Banjo, he actually would hire Filipinos for tuna or salmon, because then all he has to do is go into international waters where they can legally be, and he comes back, sells his fish. And right now he's got some local boys on the boat that come with him crabbing every year, because the Filipinos don't have the international regulations to be able to come stay on the boat, be here and deliver crab like that, just be in international waters without a visa. And so, yes, there are seasonal crews.
They can't even get on the dock when they're tied up.
Yeah,
they have to stay on the boat the whole time.
If they're selling fish like tuna on the dock, and they're cutting up the fish for people, they are not allowed to leave, not to the grocery store even. And if they do, they will be arrested.
Yeah, and the Excalibur, they ran all El Salvadorans.
So those would be your definition of what a seasonal crew would be. But as far as crew goes, I mean, people interchange. There's only about 1,800 fishermen up and down the West Coast, and that's captain boats. And so you could actually get to know every real fisherman up and down the coast of California. So if you already know all the fishermen, somebody needs some help, I'll take a break from this boat and go work on this boat. It's not exactly seasonal even.
Yeah.
Oh, everything is about money. Everything has such a thin profit margin now, and so labor gets no profit anymore. There's no on everything.
It's actually great that you bring that up, because I'd like to bring up a point just for it. It's crazy now how we're talking about the risks and rewards of fishing, and yet most deckhands can barely pay their rent. They're hopping from boat to boat instead of just being able to stay on a boat and be a seasonal worker. They have to continue working 7 days out of the week just to be able to make enough money to pay their rent every month, you know? And so it's kind of like the risk and reward, the supply and demand just isn't really there. Like, why am I selling somebody a crab for $10 when the pot costs $200, the rope costs another $100, and then the fishing game's telling me I need to get my buoys licensed and they have to have a number on there.
Yeah, you're looking at $300 to $400 a pot.
The acronym for boat is bust out another $1,000. Yeah, I mean, like, and we're not getting $1,000 for these crab, and it's kind of sad. And like, you'd think when I came in first and we said 435 up to 475, that doesn't sound like much, but when you're talking about 30,000 pounds of crab, all of a sudden that's like another $100,000 that you could have missed if it was a dollar margin. You know, if that was $5 a pound, that's another $1,000 on the deckhand's paycheck. That man's eating, you know, but that we're just like getting so choked out and forced out because of regulations, because of supply and demand, the limited slim profit margin that you just referenced. You know, it's getting unbearable, and so a lot of people are dropping out of it.
The other problem is a lot of ports only have 1 to 3 big buyers, and they price fix.
Actually 95% of the seafood that's caught in this port isn't seen by this town.
Right.
The local Murphy's only buys a limited supply of like $10,000 worth of crab. That's maybe like a quarter of one of these fish holds, you know. It's not very much realistically. And then they'll cook it up and give it to the people, and that seems to be a big seller. They sell theirs for $20 a pound, and that seems reasonable, you know. Like, they're actually doing the community a service, working together. But these fisheries, they're taken from the mouths of the fishermen, they're taking them from the mouths of the people ultimately, because why is Safeway selling that crab for $35 a pound when you can have a live, fresh, moving one right there for $5 right now?
Yeah.
Well, that's a little ass backwards.
But there's
Excuse my French.
There's a lot of hoops you have to jump through. You got to get a bunch of permits and everything. Like, I've got a license to use my radio. I've got a license to use my scale. I can sell you a fish from my licensed scale if it's up to date and inspected, but I can't sell you the fillets.
How much you pay for the slip?
Here?
Yeah.
Not much. It's like $680 or something like that. But
Is that good?
For $50 more, I get a parking spot in the yard where I can store my gear. We can keep one car here in the parking lot as well. You know, being on an island, it's almost like a moat from any kind of riffraff or anything from town. So there's very little crime over here. And people don't walk across that narrow, windy bridge to go steal stuff. You know, so it's pretty safe. Our water is so nutritious. This is the most nutritious water on the planet. It's coming down the Humboldt Current from Alaska down to here, and it stops about San Francisco and it starts to warm up.
But there's a society here, like, and that's a pretty big word.
No, it's a community inside of a community.
It's a society. Like, I don't think people that's even right over there understands that if you come over, like, it's taken me years to break into this. I've done about 4 videos down here, but it's really hard because everyone doesn't really engage.
This is about their ships. That's the difference. And we work on boats. We're not working on ships. The amount of resources demanding of a ship, you know, the amount of oil in the water, like, it's unconducive for fishermen to really be a part of that. Not to mention, somebody falls off a ship, to them that's just a lawyer talk and an insurance policy. You know, they don't care about who's on the ship. They just care that 1,000-foot vessel, whatever, the 100,000 gallons of oil that they have in the vessel gets to the destination.
We used to sell a lot of stuff to Japan, but now you've got the generation of Japan that's, you know, a little younger than me. They want hamburgers. They don't want sushi anymore. They don't want roe on kelp.
No, he's not joking about that.
It's dying out. So a lot of my sashimi goes to Barcelona, and a lot of it does go to our Costco, but it gets shipped because the cost of labor and everything. They send it to Vietnam, process it, can it, label it with Wild Planet on it, and then send it back to the Costco so I can buy my own fish back here after it's been around the world.
Every crab that's caught in this port right now this year is going to be shipped up to Oregon to the Wild Planet Hokkaidos over there because the Pack Choice was doing so
all
poor.
Wild Planet stuff goes to Vietnam for packaging.
Right.
Just for process and packaging.
Right. And
they're really nice guys that run the company, but it just bottom line. That's the way they can afford to do it.
Yeah.